Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great week. It is hump day. It is something that we haven't done before. Coffee and questions. Well, we've done it before, but we haven't done it in a while. And I've been getting a little feedback saying you guys would like to see that once in a while. So we're going to do that today. I got a really good question, and this actually is a question, something that I've been wanting to do for a while anyway. For about, it must have been about 5-6 months. It seemed like I didn't really use my critter because there were things that I was doing that I was either not finishing or I was putting finish on with spray cans or whatever. But for whatever reason, I wasn't using my critter a lot. And I kind of almost forgot how to do it. And I'll explain that in a minute. But the question that I got has to do with spraying. So this is from Dwayne Throckmorton. And he said, I know you use spray cans a lot for your clear for indoor signs. Where I'm at in West Virginia, those cans are about $4 to $5 each, and they don't seem to last very long. I usually only get 3 or 4 signs out of a can, not to mention that Lowe's or Home Depot doesn't always have them in stock. I've got an HVLP gun and a critter gun. I tried polyacrylic in the critter gun, but the results weren't very good. I've tried researching other types of clear, but I keep coming back to the same thing. I am usually putting on 3 to 5 coats per sign. Do you have any suggestions? So, going back to what I just said about learning how to use the critter again, I don't know. It was just, for whatever reason, I wasn't getting really good results when I started using it again. And I kept playing with it and tinkering with it, trying to figure out what the deal was. So first of all, in regard to Dwayne's question, polyacrylic. This is polyacrylic. Now, I've only used this a couple times, but this is for indoor use only, but I'm kind of happy with it. And so, you know, I don't think I've ever showed it on camera, but I did actually do a real quick, I sprayed a couple things with it, and fairly happy with it. I don't have an extensive use of it yet, so what am I trying to say? The jury is still out. That's what I was looking for. My words aren't working again. Anyway, the jury's still out completely. I'm not 100% sold on it, but so far I'm fairly happy with the results. So, in regards to the critter gun, let me, you want me to move that? Here is, no, that's okay. I'll just set it down over here. Here's the critter gun. If you guys haven't seen this, this is a critter gun. I've had this same gun 4 years, 3-4 years, something like that. You can see it's somewhat used, and once in a while I will replace this ring. This is just a mason jar, and this is how I normally store my critter gun. After I spray my stuff, I like using water-based because the cleanup is easy. After I do that, then I put the water jar back on there, put it down, and I spray for about 10-15 seconds, and then that's the way I store it. You guys have heard me talk about the critter gun before, but this thing really is amazing. But what I was finding is that one of the reasons that I think I was having a problem with, somehow this got out of adjustment. So if you look at let me use this to point. If you look at where this orifice, this is pulling the material out of the jar, this is where the air is blowing across the nozzle, which causes a siphon, pulls that material out. This somehow got out of adjustment, and it was down below the midpoint.
Turn it this way just a little. There you go.
It was down below the midpoint of where that nozzle is. I just took a little wrench, and now I keep that in my drawer, and I turned it about a half a turn, and I brought this up, and man, that made a huge difference. You wouldn't think that it would. It was just down a fraction of an inch, but it made a huge difference. The other thing that I realized is that, I don't know if you can see on there.
Just a little.
Huh?
Tip it just a little.
I don't know if you can see on there, but it's kind of built up a little bit. So I take my knife and I kind of scrape the top of that just to get that, let me stand up, just to get that film off the top. Okay, then what I do is, let me take a drink of coffee. Then, you guys have seen me show this before. This is a, what? What'd I do?
I zoomed right in on that nozzle and you shoved that thing in front of it.
Well, you're professional. You can handle it.
I can knock you out. I can handle that too.
So this is a spray gun kit. I bought it on Amazon. We've got it in our Amazon store. And most of this stuff I probably won't use. But what I will use, I think it's like 21, 22 bucks. What I will use is this. This is worth 21 bucks to me right here. So I pulled out, this has got all, I call these bottle brushes. I'm sure there's another technical name for them. But I use this. Now we'll go back to the zoom.
Stop moving so fast.
All right. So I use this just to clear out that nozzle. And it works really, really good. So you got to keep this thing clear, and you got to keep this, the top of that nozzle, keep it from getting a film on it. You can see there's crap all over this thing. But if you keep that, if you keep this in adjustment, keep that thing clear all the way down, and then use the, get yourself a little bottle brush. You might be able to find them somewhere else. I don't know. I found them in this kit, and I really, and that made all the difference. And then I adjusted my air pressure. I'm spraying now somewhere around 65 to 75 pounds air pressure, and again that will vary depending on the viscosity of your material that you're spraying. Most of the stuff I'm doing is thin because it's water based. So I've got the polyacrylic. I've got a jar of my Czar. This is what I like for exterior. Some of you guys are using Helmsman, which I used for a long time. This is the Helmsman. And then my sanding sealer. So I just, and I might have a couple more jars in there. I just buy these big quart jars. This thing comes with the small jar, but it won't stand up by itself, and I like having the big quart jars. And then, again, this is maybe redundant to some of you, but I just put an extension. Someone sent me a piece of hose, and I just put an extension so it'll reach all the way down and pick up from the bottom. Without that, you'd have to keep this full all the time, so because that hose there, or the tube is short, made for the short jars. But I really encourage you guys. So I guess the spray cans that Dwayne was talking about, this is one of the ones that I've used for a long time. Crystal clear. I really like it. It's very convenient. I used it when I was out on a site. I used it all the time. Very convenient, but it can get kind of pricey. When you're buying stuff by the gallon, when you amortize that out to how many signs you can get out of that, oh my gosh, it drops to pennies per sign. Here's another can of clear that I've used, and again, I'm putting it kind of in the same category as this. I wouldn't use that necessarily for exterior signs. I just don't think it will last, but again, that gets really pricey if you're doing a lot of signs. If you're only doing one or two for convenience factor, that's the way to go. But if you're doing more than that, really consider getting getting a critter gun. I think this was 35 or 40 bucks.
I don't think it was that much.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, I think we've sent a lot of business to these people because we've been talking about them. And I am not a spray gun guy. This thing is so user-friendly and kind of a no-brainer, although, again, you still have to keep track of where this thing is. I learned that and kind of trying to figure out what was going on because I was spraying some stuff and it was coming out kind of splotchy, just didn't have a nice gloss finish on it, like not gloss, but like glass. So once you do that, and another thing that I was doing is, again, it had been a while since I used it, so my pattern when I was spraying, I think I was going too quick. I slowed that down to about half the pace, and then it just laid on and flowed out. And you guys that use a critter gun on a regular basis, you know what I'm talking about. But this thing is, it's worth its weight in gold if you're doing very much finishing. So again, I like the water-based stuff. Easy cleanup, swap it out. No paint thinner or lacquer thinner to mess with. Definitely get yourself some of these little bottle brushes so you can clean that thing out on a regular basis. I think that's about it. I think, this is a real quick one. I wanted to do answer this question because this is something I've been wanting to go over, this critter gun again. But definitely, I buy these jars. Just got them at Walmart. I think they're a set of 10. 24. No, they're not the big ones. The big ones I think are maybe a dozen. Yeah, maybe a dozen on the big ones. It's just it's a cool system. It's definitely the way to go if you're not now if you're spraying. I know there's actually one lady on Instagram, Lainey with Pine and Birch. We met at the last Workbench Con. Super good gal. She makes signs and she sprays paint in these all the time. This is all she uses for spraying paint, and she makes tons of signs. Huge following on Instagram. She makes tons of little stenciled signs and stuff. Really, really cool stuff. This is all she uses. All she uses to spray all her stuff is the critter guns. She's got a whole bunch of them. Anyway, so it's definitely worth checking into, guys, if you're doing a lot of finishing. So I guess that's about it. This is kind of our reemergence of Coffee and Questions, and we'll do this periodically. We'll throw one in. I've got a new series that I want to start soon, but it's too soon to really talk about it. So the next video you will see, we will be on Friday Night Live, talking more about the upcoming classes. Saturday will be another episode of Senior Moments with my dad. And we've got a new project we're starting probably the following week. We'll be starting a new project. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, obviously, as always, email me directly. Oh, there's another thing that I want to throw in there. Guys, please, 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 if you don't hear back from me and you sent me a message anywhere, but specifically through Facebook, there's so many different places to put messages in Facebook. Some of those I miss. So please email me directly, eric@makeawoodssign.com. I don't want you to be out there thinking that I'm blowing you off and not answering your questions. So please email me directly and I will get back to you. If you haven't heard from me within 24 to 48 hours, that means maybe it went into my spam filter folder, whatever. Email me again because I definitely want to answer your questions. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love for you to subscribe. And if you do, when you do, we'd love for you to click that little bell icon because then you'll get notified because we do 4 videos new each week. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. We love you. Bye-bye.